Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly comic roundup. We've made our way. We're about the halfway point, and yeah, I forgot to put those up there. So, anyway, let's get started. Kicking these off, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 9. So this is continuing, spinning out of events from the Hellfire Gala. The Hellfire Gala. Mary Jane was a guest, as she had been doing PR for Krakoa and the Krakoa medicines. However, she had been taken captive by Moira McTaggart, who put a necklace on her that allowed Moira to control Mary Jane and speak through Mary Jane. Cypher noticed that at one point that Mary Jane was tapping out SOS on her wine glass, but part of what Moira did as MJ was go after oh God, what's his name? Proteus. Mainly just to, cause him to have cause him to make a very public scene. But Spidey swooped in and stopped and prevented that from happening. However, Spidey got informed that, hey, things are not how they seem, and Grey Crow was sent to follow MJ, and with Wolverine telling Spidey, hey, we'll get her back. And so that's where this issue comes in. We find out that Peter's invitation was courtesy of Wolverine. Mainly wanted to see if Spidey would actually wear the outfit that General Carnation made for him. We get various bits of the Spidey at the gala, including talking with, of all people, Mr. Sinister, who asks if his webs, if he basically shoots webs out of his ass, and then when Spidey says no, Sinister asks if he wants to. But Spidey submits to a telepathic interrogation about the whole thing, and they go, and so Logan and Peter go to Paris, and it appears that Cameron Hodges' group, The Right, has joined with Orcus, as Moira's backed up not only by the beekeeper-inspired Orcus soldiers, but also Smiley's. But Wolverine and Spider-Man take care of the Orcus goons, and Logan gives Peter the rundown on what the deal is with Moira. Also, one of the with the help of the Stepford Cuckoos, Wolverine was able to chat with MJ, and so MJ is also like an active part of the whole thing. The idea being that MJ will lead Wolverine and Spidey to Moira's body so that they can stop Moira for good. And Grey Crow is following to the Sainte-Chapelle Chapel, or Sainte-Chapelle Cathedral. There we go. But apparently the plan was always kill MJ. No, Moira's plan at least. Grey Crow leaps in to save the day, though he does. He gets a bit injured when, but then Wolverine and Spidey come through, save. MJ's saved. But Moira does manage to escape. After all, she has a meeting with the Damocles Foundation. And Peter tries to fix things with MJ, but, well, once again, Marvel is determined to keep them apart for the early part of any run. But yeah, though, yeah, Peter is, even I can admit it, Peter is trying a bit hard. He's kind of someone who does have issues with that as well. And that is where the issue ends. So, there's a good follow up to good epilogue to the Hellfire Gala. The only quibble I really have with the issue as a whole, I was kind of hoping for John Romita Jr. on artwork on the interiors instead of just the cover, but Paul Gleason does a good job too. So it's not like it wasn't a bad issue at all. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Venom number 10. Where we left off, Eddie had seemingly escaped from Meridius and had discovered, but only to be recaptured, and had learned that Bedlam, the massive symbiote attacking and doing a good job of beating Dylan Brock, is Eddie, somehow. So, Eddie tries to fight it off. Current Eddie tries to fight off Bedlam's influence and take control, but yeah, no, he can't. And he falls through time again, coming to in the garden earlier in the series. We learn that pretty much all the symbiotes there are Eddie. And we get, which gives us some full context on some of the events that happened earlier in the garden, as we see them now from another perspective. But apparently everyone in the garden is Meridius. So. Yeah, with the ending by Eddie's taking a tally. Eddie becomes Finnegan, then Bedlam, Wild, Tyro, and Meridius. That's 6, including himself. However, Meridius said there are 7 paths. So somewhere out there beyond Meridius and everything is in 7th Venom. And that is where the issue ends. Definitely getting interesting. I'm kind of liking the idea that both Ram V and Al Ewing are kind of taking turns on the writing chores, as each one is bringing something very interesting to the table. So, Donny Cates's run was great, and it was kind of one of those, how do you top that? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they've topped it, but they're that Ram V and Al Ewing are definitely doing making a good effort towards topping it. Moving on to our next book, we've got Spider-Punk number 5, wrapping up the miniseries. Where we left off, President Osborn had the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man held prisoner, and was preparing to execute them publicly. Well, however, the Spider-Man's got an ally, Hulk, who shows up and smashes Sentry. And another ally, Daredevil, so Hulk and Daredevil free the Spider-Man and take on Osborn and his peeps. Venom makes it clear that he's kind of racist. And while it seems that the Spider-Man's got the upper hand, it all comes tumbling down when it all seems to come tumbling down. But Rai manages to steal Sentry's armor. Which it turns out is controlling pretty much all of Osborn's forces. And so Hobie plugs his guitar into Rai's armor and basically rocks Osborn to death. And the Spider-Man head back home. And that is where the series ends. This was a really fun book. I'm really hoping that we get more Spider-Punk in the near future. I'm kind of hoping that maybe Edge of Spiderverse, which we will be covering up next, has a kind of epilogue, to the Spider-Punk miniseries in one of the upcoming issues. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Edge of Spiderverse, as I mentioned earlier, just a second ago, number 3. So our the spiders we're focusing on are Spider-Man India, Night Spider, and Sakura Spider. So Spider-Man India features an avid reluctant teenage superhero. We just get these single-page shots of him taking on various villains. What appears to be a gorilla version of Kingpin. Well, he's doing so on various Earths. So, taking on a gorilla version of Kingpin on Earth 801. Taking on Doom on Earth 60526. Venom on Earth 1052. Rhino on Earth 84235. And then just, swinging along on Earth 50101. Then we've got Night Spider in the Almost Perfect Crime. Night Spider is basically, she is from Earth 194, and it's Felicia Hardy. It's Black Cat. Basically, Black Cat becomes gets spider powers. But her best friend is Jean DeWolf at at an embassy shindig, or the night of the ambassador's ball, the Delvadian embassy. Felicia shows up and is dancing with the ambassador. Apparently, they're displaying their famed the country's displaying their famed tarantula idol, but Felicia manages to maneuver the ambassador to Jean DeWolf, and then takes her leave. Apparently, she put a listening device, however, on the ambassador and listens in on the conversation between him and DeWolf. And the sash she wore on her dress has a fingerprint-sensitive microfiber. And so, she breaks into the embassy, goes to steal the idol, and it bites her. But she still takes it and leaves, and realizes she can walk on walls and ceilings now. But she rebrands. She creates a costume with webbing and Night Spider, and she steals various things, leaving notes for Jean each time. But she calls Jean to her apartment, and apparently one of the things she stole was a giant penny. Huh. I wonder if we've seen a giant penny before. I'm pretty sure it was in a comic book. But she gives herself up because it's just been boring. She's stolen everything, and maybe she'll get a rush from breaking out of every prison that Jean puts her in. And just as Jean handcuffs her, Aranya steps through. A portal opens, and Aranya steps through, recruiting Felicia to find a hopeless cause and pull off the greatest heist in history. And that is where the story ends. Finally, we've got Sakura Spider in A Hero Blooms. So Sakura Spider was introduced in the Deadpool Samurai books, but it kind of goes over Sakura Spider's day, waking up at 7 a.m., 8:30 a.m. off to school, 12:45 lunchtime fun time, 3 school's out, 3:01. Upon hearing someone say shout for help, she suits up and it's hero time. We go over her origin. 2 years previously, she went to science museum with her parents, blah blah blah, ran into spider bite, blah blah blah, spider powers, you know how the story goes. When Hydra operatives killed her father and presumably also her mother. But she didn't. She probably could have saved her parents with her powers. She didn't. But so great power, great responsibility. You know the shtick. But it's a fun little tale. With Madam Web showing up at the end to recruit Sakura Spider to battle against save the Spiderverse. And that is where the issue ends. I'm really digging this. I mean, I've stated on numerous occasions I do love me some multiversal stuff, and yeah, I didn't read any of the previous Spiderverse stories. Just timing, but I like the idea of there being like this entire multiverse just of like all the Spider-Man variants being somehow interconnected aside from just being a variant of Spider-Man. Anyway, moving on to our last movie, we've got Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, World was not a Justice League, Wonder Woman, which also has a Martian Manhunter backup. So our first story, the Wonder Woman story, on Planet Wonder Woman, Etta Candy's being inaugurated as President of the United States. Diana arrives late, having to deal with a villain, but takes Etta to the Triad of the Amazons. Everyone's happy, but something seems amiss. Hippolyta is in a tower. Has to bring a book back to Hippolyta for Etta, but Diana asks about what's going on in the tower, and apparently Hippolyta has commissioned the building of a giant missile. Diana dives into the silo to see about disarming it, ending up in the Well of Souls, wherein she discovers Dr. Psycho, who fills her own truth about the world. But Dr. Psycho is saved, but the missile is launched. And basically Diana says, well, your life is pretty much mine as I've saved it, so, don't start being a better person. As she goes out into the what's left of the world. As for our Martian Manhunter backup, so this is on an Earth where, due to the effects of climate change, mankind has decided to artificially modify itself genetically with the DNA of cephalopods. So everyone has what's best described as a Cthulhu face, and Martian Manhunter is John Jones as a cop, coming upon a rather brutal murder. Written in blood on the wall is, what does paradise look like on Earth? Jean and his partner discuss all this, but Jean's got to be home for dinner. So while at dinner, he gets a call from his partner. They've found the guy, and he's barricaded himself in a building. He barricaded himself, so Jean wants to talk to Jean. So, but it turns out it's Jean, another Jean, looking how Jean looked during as a superhero. But this Jean takes him down. And gives him a speech about what paradise on Earth looks like, and welcomes that Jean to paradise. And that is where the issue ends. I've been kind of liking these. They're interesting one shots. They always feel a little disconnected from things, but yeah. I'm hoping that as Dark Crisis continues, we get more about. Basically, we get links to the main story to each of these, because right now it just, yeah. Anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.